Okay, so my video tonight is going to be about something that's not always easy to talk about. It's going to be about health issues. All my life I've been put down, made fun of, because I'm overweight. Now, I'm not extremely obese. I'm not heavy enough that, I need a surgery for it or anything like that. Although there are people out there that need that kind of assistance. I'm not one of those people. I am quite able to get out and walk. I am quite able to exercise, which I do on a daily basis. My problem isn't that I don't exercise or anything like that. There's a lot of health issues that people don't realize actually exist. And some people actually do realize certain ones exist. Okay, so I'm going to cover some of my most basic ones for the moment. And I will get on with the other serious ones here in a minute. But one of my health issues is I've got arthritis. I've had arthritis since I was about 10, and yes, people would say that that's a remarkably young age. But when you break your ankle when you're young and it never gets reset properly or anything like that, it tends to give you arthritis at a young age, okay? It's something I've lived with since I was 10, and something I continue to live with. It's gotten progressively worse with age, and not exactly a young spring chicken, so to speak. And I've got severe arthritis in my right shoulder, so much so that it likes to pop in and out. I've got arthritis in both knees, and undoubtedly in my hips as well. Maybe even in my back. Not sure about the back issue, but if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. It's not something I can cure. It's not something I can get rid of, that I know of anyway. But that's just a minor part of my health issues. For those of you that actually know me, because I know I got a subscriber that actually is a good friend of mine, he doesn't even know about all my health issues, but he knows about some of them, because we are friends, and I don't hide anything. I don't try to hide anything anyway. Just sometimes bringing something up is kind of, iffy and whatnot. But I know I might be giving away my age on this, but I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 40. When I was 34, so a few years back, at 34 years of age, I was diagnosed. That's when I found out about my shoulder, but it's also when I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and PTSD. For those of you who don't know what PTSD stands for, it's post-traumatic stress disorder. I was raised to believe that only people in the military get that, but it's something that anybody can have. It took me 34 years of my life to find out that anybody can get it, military or civilian. And the sad part of it is I wanted to be military. I wanted to follow in my brother's footsteps because I respected him, and I still do. And to me, he was a hero, still is a hero. And I had no clue that I was suffering from PTSD. I never got to join because of one of my medical conditions, and which I will get into. Plus, I did end up pregnant, and then I hit the cutoff age, because they have a cutoff age, apparently, for you to join the military. So, yeah, I hit that age, and it was like, there goes that. But if I had tried to join, if I had actually succeeded in joining, passing the physical, would have been a impossibility for me. They would have found out about my anxiety, depression, PTSD long before I found out about it. I would have been younger at that point and been able to adjust to it a lot better than I was. In fact, quite frankly, to the therapist, I actually owe an apology to the therapist that diagnosed me with PTSD. Not because she diagnosed me with it, but when I originally got told that I was suffering from PTSD, because of how I was raised, because of what I was taught, that only soldiers can get PTSD, I called her a liar. And I told her she needed to go back to basics. I was a mouthy, and I still am a mouthy person, even now. But I've learned that there are certain things I need to research before I call anybody a liar. Or tell them that they don't know how to do their jobs, pretty much. So, yeah. My bad. But, yeah, I was 34 when I found out I had PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I was also 34 years old when I found out about one of my worst health conditions that anybody would ever have. No, I'm not trying to belittle any other health conditions, because I have 3 sisters that have seizures, they have epilepsy. I have one sister that has discs in her back that are fused together, causing her back problems, severe back problems. I have a son with a lot of health issues, including ADHD, ODD, and MMR. So, I mean, I'm not belittling any of those. There's a lot of health issues for a lot of people. Oh, excuse me, it's like 2:08 in the morning here, so where I'm at. But, yeah, I thought to discuss my health issues so that way anybody who subscribes to my channel can actually get to know me a little bit better. Because a lot of people think that, you know, because of the way I act, the way I move about, the way I'm always active, I don't like just sitting around doing nothing. I get bored doing absolutely nothing. I even get bored with YouTube every now and then. Please don't demonetize me for that one, because it does get kind of monotonous watching videos all the time. Though, to unwind, I do love watching videos. Just to be clear, I'm not dogging that either, because, I mean, come on, I'm making a video of myself. So, my worst health issue that I was apparently born with, and apparently no other doctor had ever found in my life, I was born with a heart murmur. More specifically, Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. It's essentially an extra pathway in my heart that should not exist, which could cause a lot of heart-related health issues. Like, it could cause me to have cardiac arrest, which is heart attacks for you that don't know that. I am susceptible to a lot of health issues due to that, but due to other health issues that I already have, I can get sick quicker. That's one of the reasons when COVID hit, I actually debated on whether or not to get vaccinated, and ultimately I did get vaccinated. I got the booster shot as well for that, because of the fact that, with a pre-existing heart condition, I cannot put my health or my life at risk. And that's essentially what I was doing when I was refusing to get the shot. So, because if I had caught COVID, if I had caught it, I could have gotten sick and perished, or just gotten really sick and recovered. But it was a chance I wasn't really willing to take. I actually got my fiance to get vaccinated and boosted as well, for my sake and his. He didn't really put up much of a fight, surprisingly. I think it's because he understood that my health shouldn't be put on the back burner and should be considered important by somebody who says they love me. And he showed me that he did, because he went and got vaccinated even though he hates needles. So, yeah. But yes, because of the Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, I have a fast heartbeat and an irregular one as well. On top of that, it's irregular and it's fast at the same time. My previous cardiologist did have me on some heart pills up until this month. I just ran out Sunday, and for some reason he canceled it. I don't know if it was a cutoff time or whatever, but I do remember doing some minor research on it, and I believe that the pills I was on, you could only be on for 2 years, so maybe that's why I hit the 2-year mark, and he had to cut me off, I guess. I don't know, but normally they try to wean you off of your medication when it's something like that, but I haven't gotten a hold of them yet, because I no longer live in that vicinity, and I'm going to be going to see a new cardiologist next month to find out what all can be done, because they've already tried heart surgery to close the extra pathway and fix this heart murmur, and they can't. The doctor that went in to see if they could close it said it's too close to the main artery in the heart, and if they close it, they literally kill me. I'm dead on the table. So they weren't going to risk it, and so they didn't get to close the extra pathway, and they told me that essentially I'm stuck with it for the rest of my life, which, okay, I've been living with it for 40 years now, so, I know my limitations. I don't push myself past my limitations when it comes to that, because I don't want to end up doing permanent damage, if not killing myself. With that being said, I also mentioned I suffer from anxiety and depression, which my depression is mild to moderate. It's not severe depression. I don't constantly think about bad thoughts or anything like that. It kind of links in with my PTSD, because when my PTSD gets triggered, then I have dark thoughts in my head, and yeah, I don't like that. But it's not very often that actually happens, though. A lot of people assume that if you have PTSD that it's always dark and dreary for you. That's not true. Actually, I quite enjoy life. I enjoy going out for walks, and I have a puppy dog here that I enjoy playing with when I can, and when he's not trying to yank my arms out their sockets. I have a full productive life. contrary to popular belief, it's another health issue I have. It's speech impediment. Contrary to popular belief, people who suffer with the health issues I'm suffering from can still live a very productive and energetic life. I take long walks. I can't go running because of the heart murmur. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be able to go running during the summer, spring and summer, when there's not snow and ice on the ground. But because of my heart murmur, I can't. So I don't. But I can take long walks. I can ride a bicycle as long as I'm not riding it uphill. And I can, exercise, do push-ups, jumping jacks, sit-ups, the works. So long as I'm not pushing my heart to that point where it could cause me to go into a heart attack. When my heart starts acting up too much, I stop what I'm doing. If I'm doing anything, I stop what I'm doing and do some breathing exercises. Now, most of the time that works. Sometimes it doesn't. And in cases of emergencies, this, which ultimately looks like a asthma inhaler, but is not actually an asthma inhaler. This actually coincided with my heart medicine that they had me on, so as I could, if my heart was still beating too fast after taking my meds, my pill, I could take a couple puffs off of that, and it helped slow my heart rate down, which could help me start breathing better, and, all of that. I get asked a lot if the reason why I'm so short of breath is because I am a little overweight. That is not why I'm out of breath. Turns out, for the longest time, I actually thought that might be the reason. But actually, on the contrary, it is because of the heart murmur and the anxiety that I suffer. Whenever my heart murmur starts acting up, my anxiety flares up and it causes me to not be able to breathe properly, which only causes more stress on the heart. And so that actually happens. It's not fun to deal with, trust me, but it's manageable. Also, I have an issue with losing the weight that I have. I can exercise all day long for 7 days a week and still probably only lose maybe 1 or 2 pounds. And it's not from lack of doing anything. It's the simple fact I was diagnosed with a slow thyroid gland. And instead of having a hyperactive thyroid gland, which causes your metabolism to speed up where you can't put on weight, which is something that I think my sister with the back issue should get looked at for too, because she might have an overactive one. She's always been skinny. I love her though, goofy butt as she is, but so mine is the opposite of overactive. It's underactive, and because it's so underactive, it slows my metabolism down to where I can't lose the weight like I've been trying to. So it doesn't matter how much exercise I do, how many long walks I take, how many times I ride my bicycle, which at the current state I can't because I gotta get the front tire and the brakes fixed. The front brakes as well fixed on it. But it doesn't matter what I do for exercising. If my thyroid doesn't speed up, then my metabolism will remain slow, which will make it even more difficult, especially as I get older, to lose the weight that I've got and maintain the weight loss. as well. Yes, I have tried dieting. I have tried all sorts of things, and none of them help. Ultimately, I need to find a thyroid gland specialist, and yes, the thyroid gland, if I'm not mistaken, is somewhere in your throat region. Not a doctor though, so don't quote me on that one. But, yeah, so I gotta ultimately get that fixed and figured out and sorted out before I can continue to hope to lose all the weight that I've put on, which I'm not satisfied with the weight, but I'm still not completely to that point. Sorry. Like I said, it's like it's like almost 2:30 in the morning where I'm at right now, and so I am getting a wee bit tired, but no, it's not coffee this time. It's actually hot chocolate because it's like snowing outside and really, really cold. But good, it's cool enough I can put the lid on it. Good. But yeah. So the thyroid gland is another issue. And if you guys can hear it, I've got my heat on, which that's my heater making that weird noise. Gotta really get that looked at. But I always have to have the heat on during the winter, especially, even if I'm inside and covered up clearly. It's because I'm also anemic, which before anybody says, well, how can you be anemic? Anemia or anemic means that I have low iron. I have an iron deficiency. And it's a very serious condition where if I don't keep my iron to a certain level, I will need another blood transfusion. I've already had to have one, which was a very scary thing to go through because I had no warning that my iron was getting that low, and went to see a doctor about something completely different, where they checked my iron levels, and once the results came in, they told me straight out, you need to get to the hospital immediately. They called a cab for me, paid for the cab for me, through a voucher, and I was put in until I got my blood transfusion. Not knowing that my iron was that low worried me, but knowing that I had to have a blood transfusion scared the bejesus out of me. All because my iron was low. Now I'm very cautious about it. Any and all odd feelings that I have, I take into account. I research it. I talk to doctors. Because I don't want that to ever happen again. It was not a fun thing to do. It was not easy to have to be put through that. It not only scared the bejesus out of me, but it scared it out of my fiance as well. He was unable to be there when they did the blood transfusion due to other circumstances beyond our control. But he was there for me afterwards, and he was there to support me when I had to go get iron pumped into me the same way that they did the blood transfusion. They would hook me up to the IV and pump iron into me pretty much, and that would take about an hour, and then because afterwards they had to make sure I was okay, I wasn't going to have any ill side effects or anything like that, which thankfully I never have. Now, I was watching a video a few months ago, and it was on one of my favorite YouTubers. I love watching this guy's channel, although I won't give out the name because I don't have that right, but if you know who he is, then you know who he is. His wife, excuse me, almost mispronounced it. His wife was having issues with her iron, and she went in to have an iron transfusion, and turns out something in the transfusion that they use, she was allergic to it, and it had a very bad side effect on her. She ended up being hospitalized for a short period. I mean, not even 24, but for about a couple hours, She came out of it alright, but they can't do the iron transfusions for her. Now, there are certain medications that people are allergic to, which, or food allergies as well, Like, I'm allergic, oddly enough, to lemon. And it really stinks how I found out why I'm allergic. Well, that I was allergic to lemon. But I live with it. I avoid lemon at all costs now. I'm allergic to wool. I can't use any wool objects on my bare skin. Wool blankets, wool shirts, wool socks. I can't use them. I break out in hives because of it. Anaphylactic shock is not a fun thing to deal with, hence the avoidance of lemon. And I can't take iron pills. A lot of people think, well, if you got an iron deficiency, why don't you just take iron pills? It doesn't always work that way. The iron pills end up doing way worse to me than my iron being low does. It tears up my stomach and makes it to where I can't eat at all. So I can't take iron pills to fix my iron problem. I have found other ways of fixing it, though. I researched foods that are higher in iron. I know liver and onion are, but I refuse to eat that. It's nasty stuff. Nasty. I eat meats that have high in iron, cereals that are high in iron, like Cinnamon Life cereal, for example, Frosted Mini Wheats. Those are high iron cereals. I also found out about half a year ago to a year ago now that dark chocolate can help you with your iron. Can help you with your iron as well. So I got a couple dark chocolate candy bars in my fridge, and every so often I'll break off a piece of it and eat a small piece of it, just enough to make sure my iron doesn't drop too low. I eat the meats that are higher in iron, the cereals, the foods that are higher in iron. So I've got that under control. So there's no need for me to take iron pills where I can't eat. So I can fix my iron, which I've already got fixed. I've also found out that I have neuropathy in both my feet, which means nerve damage in both my feet as well because of some trauma that happened when I was a kid. And I don't really fault the person that did the trauma to my feet, because they were severely handicapped. And, I don't think the person actually knew what they were doing was wrong, but it caused me to end up with nerve damage and neuropathy and in both my feet. So, yeah. Thanks to an incident that happened when I was 4, I have 3 learning disabilities: math, English, and spelling. But I also excel in reading and comprehension, which means I can sit down. Let's see. There's one that I haven't read yet. In a sugar packet for some reason. Don't ask, I don't know, I just got the book, so. I can sit here and read this book, Named of the Dragon, which I haven't read yet. It just sounded interesting. I can sit there and read that whole book, cover to cover, and understand everything that it says in there, even in large words. I might not be able to pronounce the words, but I can understand them. I can read them and understand them. I excel at that. I have the highest grade that I possibly could for reading comprehension. I was tested for that, actually, because they wanted to place me in the appropriate, when I was working towards my GED a while back, which I still got to finish doing. But, yeah, I can read law and understand the laws. I'm actually setting a goal for myself that once I get my GED, or finish getting my GED, I do plan on going to college for law degree. I don't want anybody to just assume that every lawyer is out there for their money, because that's not what kind of lawyer I want to be. I actually do want to become a lawyer. I want to be able to help those who were wrongfully convicted of a crime or accused of a crime that they didn't do. I want to help the innocent. I want to put away the guilty and help the innocent. So I do plan on going to law school for that. My left eye's watering again. Don't worry, I'm not crying, trust me. You'd know it if I was. But, yeah, the life I've had to live with hasn't always been sunshiny and rainbows and, unicorns and Pegasuses and stuff like that. Or Pegasi. Would they be called Pegasuses? Or Pegasi? Anyway. Yes, my mind wanders sometimes, okay, on crazy stuff like that. But, hey, I've got an imagination too. Just because I'm 40 doesn't mean I'm dead, alright? I actually, love to think outside the box, and I love to be able to help others, and I love to let my imagination roam every now and then. But, nothing really too crazy. The whole Pegasus thing was just kind of to lighten the mood a little bit, Back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a zoologist, actually. Not a lawyer, a zoologist. Because I love animals. And I always have, I always will. They're awesome, they're straightforward. They don't beat around the bush, they don't play the two-faced game that humans do. But then I realized, after finding out all my health issues that I can find out about right now, I can't. Not the actual zoology I wanted to go into. I mean, I can teach people and the younger generation about animals, but I don't want to sit behind a desk to do it. I wanted to be like one of my heroes. And I hope I don't get demonetized or any flack for mentioning the name, because he's still kind of a hero to me. And his kids followed in his footsteps, and his wife kept it going as well. But Steve Owen was a hero to me, jumping on the backs of crocodiles and picking up dangerous snakes. That was the type of stuff I wanted to do. Not show any fear, not back down in the face of crisis, and teach people that way. People don't always learn from textbooks. Okay, you don't have to have a book to learn, and most people forget that nowadays. You put a regular book like the one here in front of me, and I'm interested in it, I'll read it. If you put a math book or something like that in front of me and tell me do all those problems in there, forget it. It's not because I don't want to. I'm actually practicing things to get better at math and spelling and things like that. But it's something that will never go away. I will never be up there in the algebra classes or trigonometry, trig classes, yeah. Sorry, speech impediment, remember? I won't ever be able to do things like that, but I would have been able to teach people hands-on about snakes, about spiders, about alligators, crocodiles, sharks, dolphins. The works, man. Everybody thinks sharks are really bad. You want to know? Wait, no, I can't. Because that's not what this video is all about. Oh my god. I just about went on a tangent. And got way off topic there. Sorry. Okay, now I've covered the learning disabilities. I've covered my anxiety, my PTSD, my depression, my neuropathy, anemia, thyroid gland arthritis. When I was in my early 20s, I also had to have my gallbladder removed. I've had 2 miscarriages in my life. 5 live births, thankfully. I think I covered about all of them. I know that this video is going to be kind of depressing to anybody who really watches it and pays attention to everything I've said. But I also want you guys to understand something about me. Yeah, I suffer from depression, anxiety, PTSD, learning disabilities, thyroid gland problems, heart murmur, arthritis, all of that. But it doesn't stop me. Anybody who truly knows me knows that no matter what my health conditions are, I'm going to continue to live my life to the fullest. I'm going to take my dog for walks. I'm going to go and take walks in the snow. I did that this evening, in fact. I'm going to go swimming in the summer. I love the water. I love to swim. In fact, I would love to be able to go on a cruise one day. My fiance, I don't know if he would, but I think he would if I went. Just saying. But he's not big on the waterfront thing. I am. Okay? He likes the dry land. I like the water. I guess opposites really do attract, huh? But, yeah, so I don't let my heart murmur or any of my other health issues control what I do in my life. I don't let it stop me. I have them in limitations, like how much cold I can actually tolerate before I have to come back in and warm back up. I can't go running because of the heart murmur. I can't, make snow angels like I could when I was a child because of my anemia and neuropathy and, that sort of thing. Yes, I have limitations that I have to be careful with. But at the same time, I don't have to live in a bubble and pretend like anything and everything's going to just hurt me. I don't. I was 5 years old climbing a tree. And now I'm 40 years old. And I've got all these health issues, and I'd still, if I was able to, climb a freaking tree. That actually sounds like fun right about now. Unfortunately, most of the trees around where I'm at are not healthy enough to climb right now because of the winter already setting in. But, oh man, I'm still a night owl. I still stay up late into the night. I still do all sorts of things that most people would find weird for somebody with my health issues to do. But weird or not, I do them anyway. I love to go camping. I love to go fishing. I love to go swimming. I love to bicycle. Long walks. Drinking coffee. Drinking tea. Drinking hot chocolate. Which, by the way, I do need a sip. Excuse me for a minute. I'm actually going to go see a cardiologist because I need to get cleared because of my heart murmur to actually get a license. I did not know that until I started studying the book, the driver's book, so I could go for my driver's license. It clearly states that if you have a health issue like a heart murmur, you get cleared by a doctor. Not only do I have to worry about the heart murmur situation, but I've also had a very minor, but nonetheless, a stroke at about 2-3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that. No, it didn't cause any brain damage. It didn't make anything worse, but it didn't make anything better either, because it puts a lot of worry on me. Because I have to worry about how much stress I'm under and what all I'm doing because of it. And a lot of people think that, yeah, it's scary. It's scary, but it's not likely to happen again. Well, that's a misconception. Even if it's a very minor stroke like mine was, it makes you more susceptible to having another stroke. Just like having a heart attack, you're more susceptible to having another one. Or, having the heart murmur, I'm more likely to have a heart attack than somebody who has a healthy, undamaged heart. So yeah, I get to look forward to all of that. But at the same time, the world needs to know, yeah, we've got issues. Some of us way worse off than others. But we don't let that stop us. Myself, other people with heart murmurs, or arthritis, or whatever else. Even anemia. We don't let it stop us. We don't let it control us. As far as the PTSD, anxiety, and depression go, the depression really gets bad during the holidays. Thanksgiving was really difficult for me. I was alone. It's an unforeseen circumstance that popped up earlier this year, that this whole year of holidays that we have had, and even Christmas coming up, has been hard. And will be hard because I will be alone this year, but hopefully next year will be better because I won't be alone. My fiance will be around. It'll be later in the year, and he will not be on my videos for personal reasons. You might hear his voice every once in a while when he is around, but he will not appear on camera. As of yet, anyway. But yeah, so now that I've covered all my health issues, and everybody in the world anybody who watches my videos, know what all is wrong with me physically and mentally, say what you will in the comments. It doesn't bother me. I have lived my whole life being bullied, fat-shamed, shamed because I have moles, shamed because I'm actually toothless. I had bad teeth. They started going bad when I was 18. I've been shamed for all kinds of things. So, your comments whether you're a troll or you're sincere. If you're sincere, I'll take you into account what you say. But if you're a troll, your comments aren't going to bother me none. 'Cause it ain't nothing I ain't heard before. I've always been told by people surrounding me when I was even a kid that I was too fat. That I should be ashamed of my weight. That I should be ashamed of being lazy and yada yada yada. Nobody knew about my thyroid gland. Nobody knew about my heart murmur at that point either. But even those that do know about it nowadays, I still get that. Sometimes, I still get people judging me for my appearance. You're too fat, you need to lose weight. You're too lazy, you can't even run. Oh, I can run, but I'm not going to because I'm not risking my life for some bloke who thinks it's funny to make fun of people with health issues. And, I've heard it all before. I've heard the name calling. I've heard it all. It doesn't hurt me anymore. I've grown past that. I know I'm not lazy. I know I'm heavy set. Big boned, fat, whatever. But it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I'm gorging myself out on cheeseburgers and french fries every day, all day. You kidding me? The last time I had a cheeseburger, an actual cheeseburger from McDonald's, was just after I got here to the town I'm living in. And I've been here for about over 6 months now. It's been well over 6 months since I've had even a hamburger from McDonald's. Because I don't eat out that much. Besides the point, I prefer pizza anyway. And just, rando pizzas. No, I actually buy them from Walmart or Walgreens. Even we cook it myself. I don't eat out a whole lot. Even when I have money, I don't eat out a whole lot. One of my favorite places to eat, though, is a Chinese restaurant. I'm addicted to sweet and sour chicken. I know, it's weird. In the past, I thought, because I did a myheritage.com DNA thing in the past, and it said I had Asian in me, but this year I did a DNA from myancestry.com, and no Asian in me. I do have 8% German in me, mostly Irish and Scottish and English. Although I've never been out of the US. Just to clarify, the accent is only because I pick up accents rather quick. So, yeah. But I've rambled on way too long. It's going on 50 minutes. So, I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and whoever watches it, comment down below. And have a good day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you guys. And I'll see you next time.